Hello traders, welcome back to this evening session of Greenback Riders, and we will be talking about the support and resistance areas that we have for tomorrow being the 10th of October, and then we will look at what are the trading plans that are possible. Based on this analysis currently, we will again meet tomorrow morning at 8:45 a.m. EST to look at what has happened in the overnight session and then finalize the trading plan for the day. If you want to join that pre-market call, the Google Meet link is given in the description below. Along with that, you will also find the read-only links to all the charts that we will be discussing right now in the description. And you will also find the link to our free Discord server as well as the Facebook page where you are very welcome to join. Let us get back to the monthly chart. So if you're looking at the monthly chart again, after this new high got created, this was the first reversal attempt, this was the second reversal attempt. After the spike was done, this was the first leg, this was the second leg, this was the third leg, and we are basically in the fourth leg at this point of time. And if we look at this was the first reversal attempt, this was the second reversal attempt, this was the third reversal attempt. So at this point of time, we are expecting that we will get another good leg to the upside, right? And based on the ATR, we still have 6124 as the ATR target to the upside. Looking at this new 88 creation right now, we may have bearish days, we may have little pullbacks, but I am still thinking that the market is very much capable of going up. And on the monthly chart, this 5957.5 area can be a very good target for the bulls to achieve based on this particular trend line that we have. Now on the downside, we will have to see if we are giving up this 5804 or the 5800 area, which I do not think is a very high possibility at this point of time. However, we have CPI tomorrow, so we do not know which way the market will move. But given the fact that the FOMC minutes actually push the market back to the new highs once again, I am thinking that even if the CPI gives us a little bit to the downside, we will again reclaim back the levels to the top. Now on the monthly chart, if we break down this 5800 area, although we have several supports here in the lower time frame, this 5725 or the 24 area will again be the biggest support if the price wants to come down after the CPI data. If we break it down again, we will come to this 5669 to the 60 area on the monthly time frame. However, we will be talking about the other support and resistance levels here on the lower time frames, but as of now, these are the monthly levels that stand. Let us now go and take a look at the weekly chart. So looking at the weekly chart right now, we had this wedge line. We came and touched this wedge line at the 5840 area. We went above that after some time, but again, we have closed below that. So tomorrow we have to see that the 5838 or the 5840 area is being taken out to the upside, and we are holding that area before we are looking for any further move to the upside. Again, after the 3840 area, this high of this particular week will also be a resistance, and the reason for that may be the ATR. So last week the ATR was at 124 points. We are not saying that the price cannot go up beyond that, but at this point of time the market has already got 120 points. It can get up to the 5850 area and get rejected again, so that we will look at false breakout of the particular trend line, especially if we see that we are going up to the 50 area and then falling below the 38 to the 40 line. But if the 38 to the 40 line actually holds, then there is a big possibility that we will keep going to the upside. And above the 5850, we can actually see the 5866 line, we can see the 5873 line, we can see the 5884 line, and around the 5880 area there is also a measured move target on the daily chart that we will be taking a look at. On the downside, this 5828 or the 5829 area or the 5828 to the 30 area will act as a good support. If this support breaks, then the next support on the weekly chart will be again on the 5822 line. If we are breaking down this and trying to come down, then maybe we will see the 5800s once again. I am expecting there will be bulls here again at this point if the price manages to come down to 5800, and after that we will see that whether the price is actually moving to the upside or wants to break down the 5797 area and keep coming down these levels. Now we will have to keep in mind that any of these levels on the weekly chart at this point of time can actually be a very good area where the bulls may come in. So we will have to keep on looking for the failed breakdowns as well, since the market is really bullish at this point of time. Now on the weekly chart, the major drop will happen if the market is actually below this 5822 line and then keeps on holding below the 5822 line. Then we can expect the market to come down to the 5800 levels on the weekly chart. Now, if we are breaking out of the current 80H again, I will have this particular trend line also available at some point of time. The price may actually want to get up to the top. If the price wants to do it this week itself, that will be at the 5919.75 area. Let us now go and take a look at the daily chart. Now, looking at the daily chart as well, we had this particular wedge line. We went up to that wedge line again. That was at the 584140 area. We broke above it, but we did not close the day above that line. So that is not a very good sign for the bulls, but the market is bullish at this point of time. Now, if you're trying to look at the legs here, after this new low has happened, this was the first entry long. We came down. This was the second entry long. And from here, we went up to the top of this particular expanding triangle that we were looking at. Now we will have to see that if we are breaking out of this 4142 area, or better still, if we are breaking out above this 5846.5 or the 47.25, which was the high of the day, and we keep moving up above the 5850 area and we are above that area, then at that point of time there will be a very high probability that the price can come and hit this particular line at 5894. So I will keep a line marked there at this point. However, if the price is actually trying to do a 1:1 of this whole pullback, this 5883 is the measured move target that we have on the daily chart, and we will mark that area as well here. But all those moves will be viable once we are above this high of the day, we are holding the high of the day, we are above the 5850 line, and then we can target all these areas. But prior to that, there can be resistance at the 5866 as well as the 5873 levels. On the downside, we will have to see if we are breaking down this previous 80H at 5830. Below that, this 5822 to the 21 area will be a very good area of support. But if these areas are breaking down, just like we saw on the weekly chart as well, there is a high probability that we will come out to the 5808 to the 5800 areas again. And if we are breaking down the 5800 area, the next support on the daily chart will be somewhere around the 5785 line. So that will again be a very important line, because if you remember, this was one of the 80Hs that we had earlier. We came below that line on this daily chart and then bounced back from there and created a new 80H today. So tomorrow we will have to be very careful about the CPI data. If the CPI data comes down, we will have to see till what point of time it is coming down, from where it is bouncing, and after that bounce is happening, are we getting a second entry long to the upside? That will be a very good entry, and we can actually get back to the top levels once again. At this point of time, since we have broken out of the previous 80H, this previous 80H will continue to be a very good support. Now we will have to see if this previous 80H is now breaking down. The biggest pullback that happened was at the 5819 level today, so that 19 to the 21 area can also have some bulls there still, and they may actually prevent the market from going down. But that is all speculation, right? We will have to see proof about it in the market before we enter a trade. So we will see if that 19.5 area, the 21 area is holding, and maybe it is coming and sitting above the 25 line again. There is a lot of significance of the 25 line also that happened today. So we will take a look at that on the lower time frame. But if we see that it went to the 19.5 area and it is sitting above the 25 area again, that may actually imply that that was just a double bottom that happened and the market will want to go up back again. Now, one more thing that I want to talk about is this expanding triangle. This was the leg down, this was the leg up. So this is 1, 2, and then we came down again. That was the third leg. We went back up here. We did not get to the top. Now, if we are considering this as the fourth leg up here, then we have already done the fifth leg to the downside and we are going up. But in all practicality, this is the fourth leg that happened. Now, there is a possibility that if this is actually the fourth leg up and this line keeps on holding, then at that point of time, we will be actually doing a fifth leg down to the bottom. I do not know if we will be able to come down to the bottom here, but if this wedge line is holding, it may take a couple of days, it may take a couple of legs, but finally we may actually come down to this area again, and based on this expanding triangle, we will have to be ready for that. But again, the market is bullish and we will keep on believing that the market is bullish as long as we do not see that the major levels are being taken out. Having said that, let us now get into the intraday 4-hour chart. Now, looking at this 4-hour chart, this 5852 area is the conservative target of this legs 1:1 to the upside. And if we are trying to see what can be the full target, if we are considering the wicks on both the sides, it can actually bring us to the 5878 area. So which coincides with the 5873 to the 5880 area of to the upside. Now, for that to happen, if we get such kinds of pullbacks overnight and then we see that we are starting to bounce again and then the market is trying to pull up, that will be a very good sign that, okay, this may be the third leg that is starting. But then on the intraday chart, we will have to come back tomorrow morning, based on which we will be able to say what has happened overnight, and based on that, we can plan the trade for the day. However, on the 4-hour chart, we had this particular wedge. We have broken out of this particular wedge line, and this wedge line is at the 5819 level. And if you remember, that was the level where we came down and we started bouncing from there again. So this area will actually act as a support again. We will have to see at what point of time the price comes and touches this particular trend line. We will have to see on the lower time frame, on the 5-minute time frame, that if this trend line is actually being broken down strongly and it is holding, then we can come to this 581415 area. Now in this 1413 area, we can again find some bulls, and if we do not find some bulls, we may come back to this breakout area at the 5807. It is also possible that we do not touch this 5807, we keep a gap open, thereby creating a breakout gap, and when the price comes down there once again, we will be expecting to have some bulls at that point of time. Now, if you're doing a leg based count based on the height of this particular leg, the total height of this particular leg, this ends at the 5850 area again. So that is why the 5850 area becomes so important. If we break above this 5850 area, then it is highly possible that we will be coming somewhere to this particular trend line to the top. There may be a pullback after the 5850, but as long as that 5838 to 40 and then the 5833 and then the 5825 areas do not break down, we should not have anything to panic about, because that may just be a pullback. It may be just creating a room in order to go up, and then it will go back up again and hit this particular line on the upside. That may not happen in one day. We had a crazy move today, but then again tomorrow we have CPI, and we know that the CPI days are known for huge moves, but there will be traps as well available on CPI days on both sides of the chart, so be very careful of that. So tomorrow, as long as we do not break down that 25 level, the 5825 level, I will not be interested in a short, because I do not think before that we will actually get a very good short to the downside. Now, if we are taking out this 5808 level, this particular breakout area, we can come down to the 5800s. This 5800, again, the big round number will provide support. We will have to see if that is coming down, then we can come to this 5794 to the 92 area. We have the EMA right here. We had created this EMA gap here earlier during the pullback, so we will have to see if it comes down, if we create a gap here again and we keep moving to the upside. So for tomorrow, I will especially be interested in looking at where the ETH 1-hour and the 4-hour EMAs are standing, and if we actually come down to those areas, it may create very good reversal trades or continuation trades as well, for that matter, if the bears become very strong. If the bears are able to bring the price down from this 5840 areas to the 5788 areas, you'll have to remember that that will again be close to 40 points, and if the bears get 40 points, there may be reversals possible as well after that. And if we are getting above this 5850 measured move target, then we will have another support at the 5866 area, and after that we can move up to the 5884 or the 82 area that we saw on the daily chart, or even the 78 line, which was the aggressive estimation of this particular leg to the upside. So that is all we have at this point on the 4-hour chart. Let us now take a look at the 1-hour chart. Now, looking at the 1-hour chart, if you look here, this was the first leg up, this was the first pullback attempt, this was the second leg up, this was the second pullback attempt. Then we broke strongly above the second leg, and we had a two-legged or a three-legged pullback to the downside. We created a wedge, and then we had the first leg up, pullback, and the second leg up, and it continued till here. Now, what has happened here is we had this particular wedge line. The wedge line was at the 5817.75 area, and we broke above that. We came back and retested that area again. So this breakout area got retested and we went back to the top again. Now, if we are trying to see a 1:1 of this particular breakout bar, then we can come up to this 58-59 area. But my only concern at this point was that this breakout bar did not actually get a follow through bar on the hourly chart. We came down for a couple of hours and then went back up. We could not close above the high of this particular spike that we had. So that is one more concern that I have. So that is why I was saying saying that we need to make sure that the price is above the 38 to the 40 area. It is making a strong breakout above the 38 to the 40 area in the morning before you can decide whether to go long on that and try to get to the 5850. And if we are getting a 1:1 of that, that will happen at the 5860 area. Now it is also possible that this particular line can also act as a wedge at this point of time, so I will keep this on this chart. So we will have to see that we are breaking above this line. We are coming to this 5860 target above the 5850, and above that we are getting to the 5866, and then we can target all those levels to the upside, which will be 5873, 5884, 80 to 84, and then finally the 5892 to the 94 area maybe, and we can keep on moving after that. But these are the different resistance levels that you may have to the upside. Now, since this 5790 area was the lowest that we had today and we have moved up here, now if you're noticing that all those levels that we were talking about in the 5700 levels, the 5724, the 5733, the 5746, those same lines are now becoming important again on the 5800 levels. So whenever you are moving up in the uncharted territory, you can actually keep these generic support and resistances in mind. On the downside, we will have to see that we are breaking down of this 5818 level. This is the first level that I would want to see broken down. If this area is broken down, then we can actually come down to this previous high, which is at 5808. If 5808 breaks down, we will also keep an eye on this particular trend line that we have. Once this breaks down, we can come to this 5794 area, breaking down which will bring us back to the 5786 area again. If we do not find bulls here between 5786 and 5781, we may get into this trading range again and keep dumping to the downside. At this point of time, if I am trying to see what has happened with respect to the trading range, if this was the whole trading range, this 5876 area appears to be a 1:1 of this particular trading range, and we may keep moving higher after that. But first of all, on the 1 hour chart, we need to see that we are strongly above this particular wedge line at this point before we are looking for any targets to the upside. And that will actually mean that we are above 5846, we are above the 5850 lines as well. However, if we pull back during the CPI, you may find much better trades around the 1 hour EMA or around this particular trend line in the morning itself. Now, since we are in an uptrend, I will also keep this particular trend line in the 1 hour chart, and that may also act as a very good support on the 1 hour chart. So looking at the ETA chart, this was the low that we had today morning, and we have gone up till here. In that process, we have created this as a support area. This will be the next support area on the top, 5813 to the 5809. This is expected to be a very strong support. However, above that, we have the 5818.75 line as well, which was the low of this particular pullback and the high of this particular candle. So that will act as a strong support again tomorrow. We may have some support at the 5821 or the 22 level as well, which was the previous resistance that we all know. Above this, we went another 20 points. So it is possible that we can make another 20 to 40 points above this particular high tomorrow. So we will have to keep an eye on that. But first of all, we will have to see that this 5840 to the 5837 area, this area is being taken out, and on the top we are able to get up to the 5850 area, and we are holding that level. We are breaking out of that strong, and then we will see if we are able to keep moving higher to the upside. On the downside again, if this area breaks down, we will come down to the 5813 to the 5809 area or the 5808 area. If the bulls are not available here, then the next support area will be somewhere around the 5800 to the 5806 area. Now, if we are breaking down the 5800 and we are not finding bulls there, this 97 to 93 area will be the next target somewhere here. Below that, we can come to this 5790 line. If this 5790 line also breaks down, then our next support will be at 5783 to the 5780 area, and then again this 5773 area will be a very strong support. So tomorrow morning we will have to come back again, see where the market is opening up, see what the market has done overnight, look at the 1 hour and the 4 hour chart and also the ETH 5-minute chart, and based on that we will actually take a decision about which way the market can actually move. So that is all the analysis I have at this point of time. As mentioned earlier, we will come back again tomorrow morning at 8:45 a.m. EST to make the pre-market plan. I will end this video here right now, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of the night, guys. Bye.